There is not one event, there's not one second, there's not one experience through which God cannot speak. And writing those words down, writing those experiences down in a journal for personal transformation and change can forever change your life. All the great saints have incorporated in their lives the habit of journaling, of writing down those thoughts and those experiences, those impressions from God on paper in some kind of form or digitally. They've all done that. And they've seen the value, they experienced the value of doing so. And today I want to encourage you to incorporate this habit, this spiritual discipline into your own life if you haven't already. Journaling is a way of simply recording what is going on in your life. It is good, it's healthy to be aware of what's going on, what God is doing in your life, what Jesus is calling you to do, what He has done in your life, the miracles, the answered prayers that He has answered in your life. Writing those down and then referring to them later is an incredible faith-building event. So you want to get into the habit of recording those events. You want to get in the habit of, whether it's every day, every other day, or every 3 or 4 days, of writing those experiences, those impressions down. Now, how do you journal? What is the appropriate way to journal? I don't know that there are set standards or guidelines for this. I want you to just let the Spirit of God move you as you are journaling. This whole thing, that is, of incorporating exercises, spiritual exercises into our lives, including journaling, is all about allowing God to work on us. It's not about manipulating. It's simply about putting ourselves before God, sacrificing, so that God would enter our lives in a new and different and fuller way and change and transform us. We're all looking for peace and happiness, right? Sure we are. And as we go along that journey, writing those things down, what God has done, can really, really make a difference. So how do you do it? You let those thoughts flow. Now, I would encourage you to keep this journal anyway focused on your relationship with Jesus and that transformation process. You could journal about other things in your life. But again, if that is what you want to do, if you want to incorporate everything into this journal, then do it. But be sensitive to what God is doing. You can write prayer requests down. You can write those responses to those prayers that you have seen over the last few days or weeks. Write those down. Certainly you want to do that. If you see your heart, your mind has become aware of some things, maybe a sin in your life that you really weren't noticing before, write that down. One of the things that I've noticed about journaling is that it helps us to realize, again, the promises that God makes, like in Romans chapter 8, where Paul writes that God works all things for our good and the glory of God. And what you're able to do is you're able to go back and maybe look at last year's entry or 2 years ago. And you read where you were struggling with this, or maybe there was an event that occurred that was just horrible. You got fired from a job, or maybe a spouse left you. And you look at that and you read that and you compare yourself to what is going on now and how God has brought peace and even joy into your life. It is mind-blowing. It is faith-building. So get into the habit of journaling. And again, I thought, well, maybe I should develop a step-by-step process. I don't know that there is, except just do it. Go by yourself. I personally prefer, even though in most things in my life, I like the digital form, for instance, books. I don't have a hardback book or paperback book anymore. I haven't bought one in decades. That's all digital. But when it comes to journaling, I prefer paper. And so I have my journal right here. And as I look at it, this particular journal I started in July February of this year. And it doesn't have entries every day, every other day, every 3 or 4 days. But I can go back and look, and I can see what was going on in my life back in July, for instance. For instance, here's an entry that I wrote on July 20th of this year. Remain in me. Apart from me, you can do nothing. And whatever you wish, ask for it, and it'll be given to you. Those, of course, are words of Jesus from John 15. But here's what I wrote underneath it. This sounds like a very successful life. Me and Jesus, Jesus and me. I get whatever I ask for. Wow, that's what I wrote. As I remain in Jesus, the life-giving sap, if you will, which starts in Him, flows through me. I take that to mean that His thoughts become my thoughts. His actions become my actions. Everything He is, everything He does, thinks, etc., becomes mine too. And then there is this final sentence, a plea. Help me to abide. So that was what was going. There's some other things in there on that day, but that was what was going through my mind. It's a wonderful private place to have a conversation with God Himself. It's a one-on-one. It's a place for me to just be completely open, have a private conversation. It is a fake act of giving ourselves over to God and listening and rereading and looking at what God has been doing in our lives. I can promise you this can make an incredible difference in your life if you will incorporate this. Whether it's 15 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, can be done at any time of the day, morning, at lunch, before you go to bed at night, whenever that might be. But listen to the Spirit. Write those things down. And then in a day or 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever it is, go back, reread those, and see what God has done since then. So let me know what you think. Start this habit. If you've already been doing it, share down in the comments the way you have been blessed or what's happened in your life since you've been journaling, your spiritual formation journal. And again, share those thoughts with me and with others so that we can be encouraged by it, and maybe we can encourage you as well. Hey, if you've been helped with this video, please be sure to hit that thumbs up, that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, as it's all about spiritual formation, helping us become more like Jesus. In fact, if you want to see other videos produced on this topic, check out this one. I think you will benefit from it as well.